So hi, this is day 23 of my 31-day challenge, and the question today is, excuse me, I'm falling apart. The question today is, what would you change, one thing would you change in your life right now? Well, there's a few things, but you're only allowed to choose one. So I thought, okay, well, what's going to bring me the most satisfaction or bring me what I need in order to thrive? Well, I'm doing all right. I'm exercising every day. I'm eating properly. I'm walking as often as I can. I'm starting to detox my body from, the societal things that I have introduced into my life. I no longer smoke. So these things, I've already dealt with them. And I was thinking, what would bring me the most satisfaction? And you're only allowed one. And I was thinking, well, mobility. I would love to be able to travel to go see my friends and my family of my own accord, okay? I still have my license. I'm still able to drive. I just don't have a vehicle. So, if I woke up tomorrow or I woke up on Christmas and someone had a car, a little, hazy gray, blue Volkswagen, like a little Herbie Beetle sitting under the tree for me, that would be like the top of the rainbow. That would be the best gift I could ever get at Christmas, trust me. But not too many people I know can afford. I mean, now they would be antique, I guess. The Herbie bugs, the Volkswagen bugs, they'd probably be antique, so they're probably expensive, right? But that is something, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what make of car it is, but to have my mobility back where I could travel to see my friends, where I can, if I want to go to the mall, I don't have to wait until I have the funds to take the bus or wait till the bus comes. I mean, on the weekends, the buses run I think every hour or something like that, right? So there's that waiting period. You have to wait for them. And if I had my own vehicle, I would have that freedom. I'd be able to jump in the car and go shopping where I wanted or go see my family and friends, and not have to plan it out. So just to have that little bit of mobility. And I remember when I did have my car. God, I miss my car so much. I would jump in the car and I would drive an hour, okay, to go have breakfast at a little restaurant close to where I lived. I lived in a city. I lived in a city. I worked in a city, so I lived there. And I would travel, and it wasn't that far. It was maybe 3/4 of an hour to get to the country. And I remember doing that drive just so I could sit by the water, have a coffee, and then go for breakfast at one of those tiny little village restaurants. I loved it, absolutely loved it. Now, I'm not even sure if the restaurant is still in existence, but I absolutely loved it. Just to have that, that kind of like disappear from all the extraneous noise and the smog and like the worries and the anxiety of living in, a major city, right? So, yeah, I'd like to have my mobility back, and that is part of my life that I miss. I truly miss it, and I would purchase another car if I could. However, if you're watching my videos, you know that I'm not able to. This point in time, I'm on the last leg of that journey, so to speak, and so I don't have the funds. I don't have the ability to go out, get a job and make a couple of paychecks and then go buy a car. And even if I did have a job and I could, accommodate that, the prices are outrageous. And now they have these electric cars. I would never buy an electric car. Never. So, I mean, they're kind of like getting rid of the gasoline-powered cars, I think, to be honest with you. I see so many electric cars at the car lots, and I've heard of them catching fire, and, the battery dies in the middle of a trip. What would you do? What would you do? You have to charge it. There's only like one charger per how many vehicles, right? And, I see people pull into the car lots and they plug in their electric cars. And then they have to have someone pick them up because it takes a while to charge that. So if you don't know anybody where you're charging it, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? I mean, it could be the middle of winter. It could be, a really bad rainstorm or something, right? I just don't see the point in them. But if you look at what's going on in our world, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to create 15-minute cities where everything is within 15 minutes of where you live or where you are. Yeah, 15 minutes. So I truly believe that those electric cars were created specifically not only because of climate change, but because it's a control thing. They want to control how far you can go with your vehicle. Yeah. And they figure that's going to stop climate change. But you see all these bigwigs, and you see all these politicians that fly across the country to go on vacation with their family, and not in their backyard, not to the cottage that's across the country where they have to take a jet. So, and what about the people that have to work out of country, that have to fly for their jobs, okay? So it's not realistic. Having these electric cars should be an option. Yeah, I think it should be an option. And you know, if I was living in the country and I had my family and my friends and everything I needed close by, yeah, at 63, I'd be fine with having an electric car because I don't drive that far. But right now, I'm stuck where I am. I'm kind of like, I'm stuck. I really am. I'm truthfully stuck. And so I don't get to go on trips or excursions, or I don't get to see my family and my friends because everybody lives far away from me, right? So, you know, like, I think it should be an option, but I don't think it should be forced upon us. Yeah, these electric cars. But I think that if I could change one thing in my life, and I was thinking I should change my location, okay? But let's say I move to the country. I still need a vehicle. Right? So I need a vehicle. Like if I'm living in the country, I need a vehicle to get into town to go grocery shopping. So I think if I had to choose between location or vehicle, I don't know. I'm kind of torn because think about this, right? If I'm in the country, I'm close to family, I could always count on them to give me a ride to the grocery store or the drugstore or wherever I gotta go. I mean, they have their own lives, but surely they would help me. A family, you know what I mean? Oh, I've been that gamut. But I'm talking about my children and my friends, right? I'm not talking about my nuclear family. I'm talking about my family and my children. Yeah, so I might have to count on them for trips, right? But okay, so location or vehicle, one or the other. And then I thought, well, if I have a vehicle, I'm going to have to, you know, financially, I'm not wealthy at all. So I'd have to pay insurance, upkeep on the car, gasoline, oil, windshield washer, antifreeze in the winter, like those type of things, all those bills, and then the upkeep on the car, the tires, the whole bit, right? So I'm thinking, what would make everything easier? How would I be able, like, what would I wish for to change in my life? I mean, I want a car, I want mobility, I want to see my family, and I thought, well, if I had money, I could do all those things. I could buy a car, I could see my family, I could purchase a house in the country. So my answer to this question is, what would you change in your life if you could? Well, and I think a lot of people would probably say the same thing I'm going to say. It's like, I would change my financial situation. I would change it to the point where I had enough money. I had a retirement fund, which I don't. I had a savings account. We won't even go there. Or, you know, I had some type of security where financially I was set, where I could purchase a car, I could purchase a home in the country. And you know, I'm not even looking to purchase a house that's like 100,000 or 200,000 or even 300,000, any of that. Even if I won the lottery, I would want a small one-bedroom cabin. That's it, in the country. I don't want, at first I thought I wanted a tiny home. Yeah, I love those tiny homes. But then I seen it, it's actually pretty tiny, some of them. So I thought, nah, you know what, a cabin. I want a log cabin, a one-bedroom log cabin with a view of, especially in the wintertime, with the snow coming down and the trees glistening, or in the fall with all the leaves, right? These are the things that are true to my heart. These are the things that I want, and I could accomplish that if I had financial security, and I don't. And in my country, where I am, that might just very well be a thing of the past. Like I don't even think when I hit time for retirement, like for the pension plan that we have for our elderly, I don't think, when I get to that stage, I don't even think there might be one. Do you know what I'm saying? And if there is one, I mean, I'm sure it's going to be like pretty low. So yeah, it'd be nice to win the lottery, but that's it. But I've been trying for a few years now to manifest winning the lottery, and I think I won one time. I was in British Columbia. I'm in Canada, so I was in British Columbia, and I was living on the island, and there is a casino there. And I remember getting off work, and I remember thinking, like, I want to go back to where I live. I want to go back to central Canada. I don't want to be out here anymore because I was on the West Coast. And it was just a little bit too go for me, right? And so I remember thinking, I want to go back. I want to go home. But I didn't have the money, so I was going to have to work, quite a few months, at least 6 months to get it. Well, I thought, I'm done work. So I went to the casino. It was on my way home. And I walked from work to home, and it was like about a quarter of a mile, maybe even longer. Anyway, I remember stopping at the casino, and I had just a few dollars on me, and I put them in, and I did the spin, and I won $800. And at that time, that was enough to get me a one-way ticket home. So what did I do? I came home. Yeah. So, having being isolated from your friends and family in your elder years is difficult. Oh, it's so difficult. You have no idea. I really enjoy watching those families that come from Korea or from Japan or from Thailand, the Philippines, those places, okay? Because they have a very healthy respect for their elderly, and they keep that connection solid, like way up into the elder years. So, usually the grandparents will be tight-knit with their children, their grandchildren, until they pass. Well, in Canada, where I am, I hate to say this, I really do, I hate to say this. And kids, if you're watching this, I don't necessarily mean you, okay? Not all the time, seriously. But nowadays, right, everybody's got to work. Everything's so expensive, and sometimes you got to work double hours or triple or whatever it may be. And I know, because I did it. That's what gave me the first heart attack, is I worked 3 contracts. I was getting, like, I was lucky, 5 hours of sleep a day. Yeah. And that took me down that road to heart problems. Okay, so nowadays the kids, our youth, have to work so damn hard to support themselves, to feed themselves, to afford an apartment, that they don't have that extra time to allot to spending time with their elderly parents. If I could change one thing in my life, yeah, it would be my financial security, but a lot of the times nowadays, the connection that you have with your parental figures, or the connection you have with those people who care about you and love you, it's sporadic, and it's kind of shaken because of the fact that society is so, it's so expensive. Rent is expensive, food is expensive, insurance is expensive. When you move into an apartment, you have to have apartment insurance. Yeah. So myself, I got to pay apartment insurance. And my furniture is it's secondhand, but it's in good shape. So, the truth of it is, I'm paying more in insurance than I actually paid for my furniture. Like, seriously. So, it makes it tough. And on our young people coming up into the world of adulthood, yeah, it's going to make it tough. It really is. And you don't get that time to enjoy your family, your friends, your kids, your parental figures, okay? So you lose those connections because you're putting so much effort into the I have to have thing. And sometimes you have to. So anyhow, I think back to the question is, what would I change in my life? I think, yeah, my financial situation, my financial security would be the first thing I would change. And right after that would be mobility, so a little Volkswagen. Right after that would be a house in the country that I own, that's a log cabin with a little garden and a clothesline. Yeah, so, and that's not a lot. And you know, I'd be okay with just being lonely. I'm okay with being lonely as long as I'm in the country. Yeah, because I have my tabby, right? So anyway, that's the answer to the question, and I shall see you on day 24. Have a wonderful night. Have a wonderful supper if that's what you're having, because I'm off to make my 2 o'clock meal, and I'm going to have some homemade chicken noodle soup with homemade gluten-free crackers. So I'll see you on day 23. Namaste. Bye-bye.